Eitel, the President and CEO of the Nike Foundation. Here we are talking about girls and the girl effect. And when I think of Nike, I think of Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, Bo Jackson. Doesn't sound like a whole lot of girl effect in there.
Well, the Nike Corporation is all about people living up to their human potential. And we like to say, if you have a body, you're an athlete. And the Nike Foundation is about adolescent girls and people being able to live up to their human potential. And what we mean there is an adolescent girl in poverty is probably the person with the least chance to realize her potential and the most chance to not just realize her own if given resources, but everyone around her, her family, her community, and her whole nation, because she's the mother of every child that will be born into poverty, and she can determine that trajectory.
When I look at some of the work of the Nike Foundation, one of the very first things that comes up, it says, girls, an unexpected answer. What does that mean?
Well, 6 years ago, when we started focusing on adolescent girls, which is the sole focus of the Nike Foundation, I would tell people that and they'd say, adolescent girls? And there was just a sense of, that's not a powerhouse strategy. But the truth is, it's an incredible strategy because she has the highest potential for impact. So we like to say unexpected because you might think of a 12 or 13-year-old girl as an innocent young girl who should be going off to school. Well, that 12 or 13-year-old girl will determine the future and the path of poverty or growth and prosperity for a country, because she will determine with the children that she raises what happens to not just her life, but all those around her.
A 12 or 13-year-old girl, and you talk about her children, you're not talking about her children at 13, 14, 15 years old, are you?
Unfortunately, we are talking about girls who have their first child when they're 12 and 13 and 14 years old. That's why the girl effect is so powerful. If she was to have her first child when she was 18, 19, 20 years old, that creates a completely different life trajectory for her and for her children. So what we're about with the girl effect is to try to delay that very first birth, delay marriage, solve all the problems before they happen. If she gets married when it's an appropriate age, she is pregnant for the first time at an appropriate age, then all possibilities are there. But if that happens in the opposite path, that she's pregnant, HIV positive, and married very young, her opportunities, she faces just a series of dead ends.
There was explosions all over your answer, so I've got to have to break it down some.
Okay.
Where is it happening that we've got 12 or 13-year-old girls who become pregnant?
Unfortunately, there are many areas around the world where girls are still married at ages that are frankly very shocking. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old. There's places in northern Nigeria, there are places in Ethiopia and India, all around the world where this still occurs. So it is critical we get to those girls and we give them the resources they need, and we help work with communities so that they can make the choices that give those girls opportunities and to be in school, realize their potential, as opposed to being married very young and having their life really take a very dead-end path for them in terms of realizing their potential.
Now, the Girl Effect is a Nike Foundation program that is intended to get to those girls. How do you do that without affecting cultural change that's too difficult?
What's very interesting is it's easy to think of issues like child marriage as cultural issues. The reality is, in the poverty environment, resources are very scarce, and families make very sound, in their mind, economic decisions, but often they're short-term decisions, and they're decisions based sometimes on not the best information. So what we find happens is when you explain to a father and to a mother that their child, their girl, if she's educated, will contribute more to their family. If she's married later, that she has more of a potential to raise a healthier family and to bring that back to their family, then all of a sudden that changes. And you'll see them making different decisions once they understand a different, what we call, value equation. When you value a girl for who she is and what she has the potential to contribute, then you have a very different outcome. If you see her as a commodity to be traded, let's see, we want to get her married as young as possible because she will bring a better bride price. Or we want to get her married as young as possible because she's another mouth to feed. See that equation? That's the one we need to change. We need to change it to, this girl is extremely valuable. When she's educated and brings income into our family or to her family, she will contribute to the growth of our family, our community, and our country. So that's the equation we're trying to change.
Now, Nike, the Nike Corporation itself, is a world-known brand with regard to men, for sure. Does the fact that that's what Nike Corporation is known for help you out in the Nike Foundation in terms of reaching young girls?
Well, men and boys are critical for the success of girls. When an adolescent girl succeeds, it's usually because a father or a brother or an uncle has intervened in some way to ensure that she does, has supported her in some way. When she doesn't, it's because they've made a decision that impacts her life. So we really think the role of men and boys are critical to the success of a girl. So Nike, being a company that does have a lot of appeal to men and boys, we see that as a real positive, and we hope that boys and men who hear about the girl effect, get exposed to the girl effect, become great champions for girls. One of our favorite t-shirts is I'm a boy for the girl effect, and we have a lot of men, including the CEO of Nike, who like to wear that t-shirt with a lot of pride. In fact, one of my favorite stories is our CEO, Mark Parker, was at a meeting and someone, on another subject, and someone said, well, tell me about the Nike Foundation and the girl effect. And he unbuttoned his shirt, and underneath he had his I'm a boy for the girl effect t-shirt, because he's just an incredible champion of girls, and we have so many men and boys that are champions of girls.
Working all over the world, and on your local impact map, which is on the NikeFoundation.org website, I saw Brazil on there. What are you doing in Brazil? Who are your partners? Who are you working with?
One of our partners in Brazil is Instituto Pro Mundo, and they work very closely with men and boys to change the way men and boys perceive girls and their role in their lives. So it's a very impactful program that starts very young and starts talking about, well, what does it mean to be a man? And what does it mean to be a girl? And helps boys and girls work together at a very young age and try to transition through adolescence, maintaining a healthy relationship. Because generally boys and girls play very healthily together until puberty starts, and then everything starts going in a different direction. Teasing, for instance, is a very big issue in Brazil. So they talk about, why do boys tease girls? Why do they yell across the street? What does that mean? Why does that happen? How do we change those behaviors? And what's very interesting is that at the end of the program, that boys will often say that other boys are jealous they didn't get to be in the program, because the boys that we're in have all the best girlfriends because they treat their girlfriends so well and so nicely, and they end up with these great relationships. So the whole girl effect is, it's a win for everyone. And that program really shows beautifully how when you address those issues, that girls don't just benefit, boys benefit, and everyone benefits.
Another country that's listed where you've had successes is in India. Can you take us through a day in the life of the girl effect in India?
Oh, sure. One of the things that always grabs me when I'm in a country and visiting is I just compare I have a daughter, I compare her day to the day of a girl in India. And usually a girl in India will wake up maybe 4:35 in the morning. She's got to do family chores, which may consist of carrying water, cleaning, preparing food. She lives a whole day before breakfast has even happened in terms of the amount of chore burden that she will carry. Then if she's lucky, she gets to go to school. But in India, all too often, a girl doesn't go to school. She's responsible for caring for someone who's sick or doing things that are critical for the family's survival. And then her day will not end till very late at night. Again, after others have gone to sleep, she has duties to take on. So in India, you have huge issues around girls not being in school, girls being married, girls not having the opportunity to live up to their potential, and the programs that we invest in there provide them safe environments to be able to do that.
Ethiopia is a topic or is a country where we're going to be going with the Rainmakers Project, particularly with water and women. Every chance that I see any picture of someone carrying water, it's always women. How come?
Ethiopia is a very exciting country where there's an enormous amount of need and enormous amount of great work happening. Right now, one of the most interesting things that we're doing is a partnership with the government of Ethiopia, the UK's Department for International Development, and the Population Council in New York. It's a child marriage program, and it is able to address this very early age marriage and move that age of marriage up to 18. So that's a very exciting program. But even more than that, we're working with the government of Ethiopia and and the donor government of the UK on a whole 5-year strategy that includes girls. And what that means is we aren't just saying, oh, girls' education is important or reproductive health is important for girls, but girls are part of every strategy, whether it's climate, governance, peace and security, agriculture, health. We need to think about girls in every single one of those areas. And what's very exciting is that the government of Ethiopia and the donor government of the UK are integrating girls into the whole 5-year strategy. So when you mention an issue about carrying water, that's a very complex issue around climate, water and sanitation, transportation issues, labor distribution issues. So if we don't think about what role girls are playing in that equation, we can't really solve the problem, because generally girls are carrying the water. In Bangladesh, a boy will spend 45 minutes a day doing chores, and a girl will spend 7 hours and 45 minutes a day doing chores. So that chore burden determines her life trajectory. So in a country like Ethiopia or India or Bangladesh, we have to address those realities that are very interrelated. It's not so simple. You have to find out all those contributing factors that are making her life either move on that positive trajectory or be a dead end.
Rwanda, it's a place where Nike and the Nike Foundation are having successes already.
There's so much great work going on in Rwanda today because there's so much promise there and actually achieving the Millennium Development Goals. I was just there and saw the Rwanda Adolescent Girl Initiative and the school that's being built there. It's just one of the many efforts that are going on to see real progress happen. One of the things that we're partnering on is with the DFID and the government of Rwanda on something called 12+. So here's something very simple. Right now, if there's a global health program, there's an assumption that girls are using those services. Well, what we found is that's not true. A girl may get immunizations up to age 5. The next time she's seen by the healthcare system, she's pregnant. The problem is we've missed that incredibly important window where we should get her before she's pregnant, before she's facing all the decisions that she makes as an adolescent. So 12+ is an entry into the health system. It draws girls in to a program that teaches them those basic skills, gives them that knowledge that they need to transition healthily from childhood to adulthood. So the commitment on behalf of DFID, the government of Rwanda, and ourselves is to get to every girl in Rwanda, because one of the biggest issue that Rwanda will face is population growth in an incredibly small country that does not have enough land for the amount of people that will be born there. So this is again the way you see the girl effect come to life. We've got to get to those girls early. We can't wait till later. That's a problem you can't solve later. And so this is something that really unleashes the girl effect at scale when you work at scale, and that's the goal.
The girl effect, Maria, when will you get to look back and say we succeeded?
Well, I get to say that every day. Not because of the pride of seeing a lot, but the joy of each individual girl. When you see an individual girl whose life trajectory is not to be married and pregnant at 12 and 13, 14 years old, and you see the look on her face of hope and dreaming and aspiration and desire, and know that she feels like she has every opportunity in life, that feels like success every day. But of course, I'm not going to sit down and relax and put my feet up until 600 million girls in poverty get to have that opportunity. My dad used to always say to me when I was little, you can do anything you want, Maria, in life as long as you work hard. And I've told my daughter that for 19 years. But unfortunately for a girl who grows up in poverty, that's a very cruel statement. It's actually a lie to her. And it's our goal to make sure that that's a true statement, that every girl has the chance to realize her potential.